guys, so I want to go ahead and make this video. We're going to go ahead and go through the builds real quick, what we got planned for this car, since I know some people are asking about it and that. Hopefully there's not too much road noise in the video. Figure I'd make it while I'm cruising around, kind of talk to you guys, see what's going on and stuff. So everything on the car so far is factory still, except for I do have the gauge that I've been talking about before, which is the P3 gauge. It has all kinds of, readings and functions and stuff on that. And when I actually get the rest of the parts that I'm waiting on, I will make another video of all of the parts that we have to actually install. It'll be a follow-up video to this. I'm still waiting on that. It says about probably 2 more weeks until it ships. So hopefully a video will be shortly after that. And then I'm also going to do a comparison, maybe in the same video or another video after that, of the factory parts to the aftermarket parts, so everybody can see the difference on stuff. So basically, this is a 2015 Audi A3. It's got the 2.0 turbo motor in it, and we are going to do just about every bolt-on possible that you can do for this thing. It's going to be nasty when it's done. So from the factory, it pushes about 220 horsepower, which I believe is from the crank, is how they measure that. And that is reduced. Front wheel drive vehicles, I'm assuming it's the same probably for rear wheel drive. It's reduced by about 15% power. And then all-wheel drive, which this one is, since it's a Quattro, is reduced to about 20%. So I'm pushing between, we'll say, 175 to 185 horsepower, wheel horsepower right now. So when we're all said and done, this thing should be almost right at about 400 wheel horsepower, which is insane for an all-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, 2.0 motor. So the parts we're going to be doing is, I don't know, I don't want to explain like all of the parts, because obviously some of the stuff you guys that are watching this probably already know what the stuff is, like what they do and things like that. There's a few things some people might not know, which I'll run through real quick with you guys. So some of the real basic stuff that we're going to start with is I'm going to do all the work at once. I decided, because some of the parts I'm going to be replacing, I have to pull off other parts to get to them, and I don't want to keep putting stuff on and off, on and off, on and off. Making bolts loose and forgetting to tighten something up, and you gotta go back and fix it again. Like that's part of the reason that I have a lot of parts I could have put on, but I did not do it yet for that reason. I want to do everything at once, make sure it's all done right, take my time on it, and I want to double check, make sure all the parts are good and everything's in working order before I actually install them. That way it's not like, oh, I'm just waiting for this one part and then there's something wrong with it. Now I got to wait even longer for the other part. I don't want to run into that situation. So basic stuff, there's an air box in the front that the air intake actually hooks up to in the front of these cars. That obviously catches the air, shoves it through the air intake, which goes into the turbo. So I got a new air box and a new cold air intake, or air intake, and then from there it's going to go into a new 3-inch elbow, turbo inlet elbow. So it's actually the metal elbow that goes from the air intake into the turbo. We're doing an upgraded turbo, which is basically the factory ones off of the Audi S3s. So it'll be an upgraded turbo, and from there we're going a 3-inch downpipe. And all this stuff so far, basically I went with one brand. That way I know everything works together, all the software works with the parts, and it's actually a good price for the stuff when you buy it as a kit. And it's all, like I said, it's all one company, most of it. There's a few little pieces here and there I outsourced because that company may not had it, and the company I used is Unitronic. So it's a 3-inch Unitronic downpipe out of the turbo, and that's going to go back into the Miltech exhaust. I have currently, right now, the Miltech exhaust is actually installed on this vehicle already. I wanted to see what it sounded like factory. There's not many videos out there at all that I can find on YouTube of completely factory A3 with a Miltech exhaust. All of them have a downpipe and all that stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and put it on now, because that obviously doesn't affect anything else. And I'll be making a little separate video for that people can hear what that exhaust sounds like with a factory setup, in case you just want to do a exhaust. So it sounds really good. I'm happy with it. I was kind of nervous at first. I know once I do all the rest of the parts, it's going to get louder and have more pops and bangs and crackles and stuff like that, which I'm excited for. But right now, things sounds fantastic. I'm happy with it. Now, along with the turbo intake, all that stuff, I did get a new intercooler. It's a obviously better high-flowing intercooler. And along with that, I went with all 3-inch charge pipes. So in and outs of the intercooler and up to the turbo and everything like that is all going to be 3-inch system now. And it is amazing how small and restricted a lot of the hoses on these cars are. Like everything, even the downpipe and everything. Excited to let this car actually breathe, and that's where a lot of the power is going to come from. So make sure you guys check back in the next video that I make when I compare the parts, and everybody will be able to see how restricted the stuff is. So with all the charge pipes, intercooler, turbo, basically besides that, I will be running a Unitronic Stage 2 Plus ECU software tune, and then along with that will be a transmission. So the TCM, the DSG Stage 2 transmission tune along with that, paired it up. So like I said, all that stuff is basically maxed out capacity of what you can do this. There's a few things you can still upgrade from there, but being that this is going to be my daily driver, I'm excited for it to be ridiculously fast, but I don't want to do it like where it's over the top and overkill, and you know, potentially ruin something of it being a daily driven instead of like a track car. You know what I mean? So besides that stuff, there's a few little things. There's like it's called a turbo muffler delete, which is inside of the turbo itself. The way that the factory, it comes from the factory, kind of diverts the air differently inside the turbo itself, kind of causes a little back pressure on it. So I got a delete for that, so it's a smoother pipe that's going to be bolted inside. I'll just remove the old one. That'll help that breathe. Gives it just a little more, you know, another pound of boost maybe or so, maybe a pound or two. It doesn't do a whole lot, and it does give you a little more turbo noise. Another thing is it's called a dog bone mount, and what it really is the lower engine mount on these cars has the rubber, you know, it's the mount with the rubber puck around it, and that is to reduce the vibration inside the actual car from the motor. But when you're putting that much power into the thing, obviously it's going to flex more, and it's going to start wearing that mount out more, and you'll have to replace it. So this dog bone mount actually slips up around the rubber part and kind of fills in the voids, and it reduces, not only does it reduce the movement of the physical motor, but it also helps deliver that power. Now that the motor's not flexing as much, it delivers that extra little bit of power back down to the wheels, which is a good thing. We're going to get as much power as we can down to the wheels. Some people say it does not affect the vibration at all inside the car. A few people say you could tell a little bit if you're really paying attention to it, but that's not a big issue for me. I can honestly care less. I would rather have a slight more vibration in a vehicle than you know, be replacing the motor mount and worry about a motor mount or something, you know, wearing out and breaking and really getting the motor slapping around. All right, guys, well, I had to run into a store real quick, and I kind of lost track of where I was at. But anyways, I think I listed all the parts and stuff. Like I said, I'll make another video. The next one, once I physically receive all the parts, we'll go through all the parts of what they actually look like, what they are. And when I pulled the old ones off the car, we're going to do a comparison before I install the new ones. Like I said before, that way if anybody's curious of what the difference really is in the parts. Anyways, so for future plans of what I kind of have for this car is probably the next thing I want to do after I do all this work. It costs a lot of money, I'm not gonna lie, a little more than I was anticipating, but I know it's gonna be worth it in the end of the day. Like I said, I'm gonna have an awesome car. It's gonna be my daily. It's something I've always wanted and I'm able to do now finally. So once I recoup a little bit from that, the next thing I would like to do is tint the windows. That is always one thing that I like doing on cars. People that have tinted windows just know. I don't know why, but we just like it. But besides that, I think it's going to be cool because the car is going to look completely factory. So all the work, except for the exhaust tips, like, is under the hood. So you're not really going to know. You're just going to think, oh, it's just a factory. I mean, it ain't got tinted windows, like nothing. And then hopefully I'll be taking some dudes to Gapplebee's because that's going to be sweet. But anyways, tint is in the future. I'd like to do something with these wheels. I'll probably get them black, either powder coat them, paint them, something like that. I'd like to get some black rims for this thing. I'd like to do a carbon fiber front lip underneath the front bumper and a carbon fiber duckbill spoiler. Those look really good. And I think that's it. There's some side skirt things. I'm not 100% sold on those yet. I don't know if I want to really do that, to be honest with you. But besides that, the only other thing is I would like to lower it. H&R makes some nice quality springs for these, and everybody that installs them that I've seen, they say that it does not reduce ride quality from factory, like very, very little. Obviously just because it's lowered, but that's it. And it'll drop it about, I think it says like 1.3 inches, so about 1.25 inches. So that'll look good. But all of that will be way later. You know, maybe summertime or something. We'll see. Maybe next winter. Put it on my Christmas list. There we go. So I'm excited for this build. You guys make sure you keep coming back, checking it out. I hope the sound is better on this video. Hopefully it's not too shaky and stuff like that. Still couldn't figure out the other camera. So for right now, I'm still using the GoPro. And to be honest with you, I'll probably just continue to keep using the GoPro just for the fact that it's convenient. It's small. I can fit it in more places. I can do more to it. It can take abuse, you know, stuff like that. So I'll probably just use this for a while. I ain't gonna spend money on anything else right now. So that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up now with that. When I get all the rest of the stuff, I'll do another video. And in between here and there, I'll probably do a few videos explaining different features in the car and stuff like that. But that's not necessarily for you guys. That's for people that maybe have these cars and are curious about how stuff works or what it actually is. So you know what to do. Till next time though, make sure your neck stays red and your collar stays blue.